by Richard Dyer, April 19, 2019. After the first 3 weeks and 20 games into the 2019 season, the San Francisco Giants appear on the surface to be a continuing model of negative out-of-the-gate consistency. The Giants have started the 2019 season with an 8-12 record. 20 games into the 2018 season they were 8-12. In the first 20 games of 2017 SF went 7-13, they were 9-11 in 2016, and 8-12 in 2015. San Francisco's cumulative record over the past 5 years to date is 316-352.473. The past 3 years to date they've slipped to 137-187.423. This is the spot where we often hear some version of the following mindless cliché: "Hey, it's way too early to say anything about the current season. Let this thing play out before we get too far into the weeds." Sure, we're still in small sample size territory, but the idea of not saying anything is of course ridiculous. Just for the record, the weeds began with the very first pitch of the 2019 season. An MLB season should be fully experienced and dissected from day one. Otherwise, why not just not say anything until the All-Star break, or maybe even wait until next October when everything will be perfectly clear? There is one huge difference between 2019 and the previous 4 years for San Francisco. There's a new, very smart sheriff in town and he has a posse of really smart deputies. But even they can't simply snap their fingers and magically turn this damaged organization around in 6 months. Giants president of baseball operations Farhan Zaidi inherited an organization in serious decline, with its future as empty as a Cap'n Crunch cereal box the day after I pick it up at the store. For an MLB franchise, global decline and a lack of future assets is a tough combination. But Zaidi has applied the first rule of holes, and now the Giants have begun the long climb out. A growing trend in Bay Area social media from short attention span fans and the out-of-touch baseball media is to somehow blame the team's terrible opening performance and all those high-end contracts with elderly players on Zaidi. After all, he's had the team for one off-season and 20 MLB games. So he owns it, right? Still in play are the massive effects of the poor decision-making at the major league level and the criminal neglect of the farm system by former GM Bobby Evans and former baseball ops president Brian Sabean. Thankfully, through the fog of yet another losing MLB season, something new and dynamic is happening in San Francisco. Before we describe that, let's talk about what we're not seeing in San Francisco anymore, a repeat of the flimsy construction of the Giants' 25-man and 40-man rosters over the previous 5 years. One is the endless lineup of inexpensive, less-than-league-average veteran players who wasted so many critical at-bats and pitcher innings in recent years: Gorkys Hernandez, Jarrett Parker, Matt Moore, Justin Maxwell, Alan Hansen, etc. Also, younger players emerging from the team's farm system are now being judged on performance rather than PR spin. Evans and Sabean tried to pretend that an endless line of sub-performing players like Austin Slater, Josh Osich, Derek Law, Mac Williamson, Chris Shaw, etc. belonged on the 25-man roster over recent years. Just the sheer amount of time the team's PR machine has devoted over the past several years in promoting of Steven Duggar as the center fielder of the future has been breathtaking. But a funny thing happened on the way to the future. Duggar, who will turn 26 later this year, was recently moved out of center field to right field. Duggar's numbers over the past 2 seasons: 90 games, 221 AB, .688 ops, 86 ops, .249 AVG, can't justify him starting in center field, and certainly won't keep him in right field very long. The presence of a one-dimensional player, in this case Duggar, has shown some good defense, although he has a subpar arm, on the 25-man roster is unsustainable. Replacing Duggar is veteran CF Kevin Pillar and his .692 career ops and .259 BA. Flars combined Toronto Blue Jays, Giants numbers so far in 2019 are a .566 ops and a .174 BA. But Pillar actually is an outstanding center fielder, and he's in the lineup every day to provide a professional presence in the outfield this season. No wonder Evans and Sabine were so aggressively anti-analytics. The last thing they wanted was for Giant fans to pay any attention to actual player performance. The former front office Wizards wanted fans to instead focus on the PR hype dished out by the radio and television broadcasters, who happened to be on the Giants' payroll. So the question is, where are the San Francisco Giants right now, and exactly where are they heading? Fans can get their arms around the 2019 season if they see it is made up of three distinct parts: the April to July build-up of tradable assets. Farhan Zaidi has peppered the starting 25-man roster with an array of potentially valuable players. And only Buster Posey is likely off the table as a trade chip. Whatever number of those players have a decent first half, it will create multiple opportunities to make trades with contending teams for at least mid-quality minor league players. Not necessarily MLB top 100 prospects, but still valuable. The new trade deadline rule, which eliminates the August waiver trade period after the traditional July 31st non-waiver trade deadline, will accelerate competition among the top teams to get what they need earlier than later. In past seasons, non-waiver trades usually began in earnest around mid-June. With only one shot to get things done, the new trade window more likely starts in mid-May. The August-September setup for the 2020 season. This is like a 2-month open laboratory to see what will work next season. Newly acquired players will each have a plan going forward, and some may get a tryout with the big club. This would be a good time to see who can grab place in the pitching rotation, bullpen, or a position. The immediate 2019 off-season, late October to December. This is the period when the Giants could try to unload some of the many toxic contracts they're carrying. 3B Evan Longoria, owed $58 million through 2023. RP Mark Melancon, owed $14 million in 2020. SP Jeff Samardzija, owed $18 million in 2020. SS Brandon Crawford, owed $30 million through 2021. That's $120 million, and no doubt the team would have to eat a huge portion of any of those contracts to move them. But in some cases it would be worth it. While all this may seem like a dismal picture of the 2019 and 2020 seasons, it's actually a reason for hope and a positive future. You can't start running in the race again until you get up off the ground. For the San Francisco Giants, this is the getting up part. 2019 NL West, 2019 San Francisco Giants, 2019 SF Giants, 2019 SF Giants rebuild, Buster Posey, Farhan Zaidi, MLB blogs, Richard Dyer. The Giants Cove, SF Giants, San Francisco Giants, San Francisco Giants blogs, San Francisco Giants. Farhan Zaidi, SF Giants blogs. Welcome to the Giants Cove, MLB, SF Giants. Let's block at